Hello everyone and welcome back to the Dork Side. I'm the Dork in the Road and this is 7 things I hate about my Honda Africa Twin. I'm the Dork in the Road and I want to be your internet riding buddy, so please consider subscribing for more dual sport and adventure bike videos like this. I love my Honda Africa Twin. I don't think it's a secret. If you've watched any of my videos of me riding it or using it or talking about it, you know I'm a big fan of the bike. But it's not perfect, no motorcycle is, and these are 7 things that annoy me, that I hate, that I wish were not the way they are on my Honda Africa Twin. First thing I hate about my Honda Africa Twin is the fact that it does not remember the settings when you shut the bike off. Traction control and ABS are things that I turn off when I ride off-road, which I do more than half of the time on that bike. Traction control can be adjusted on the fly at least. You can use the trigger here to adjust between 3 levels or hold it down to turn it all the way off. The ABS, you have to pull over to turn off the rear ABS every single time. Fine, okay, that's reasonable I guess, but what I hate is when I stop to take a picture or take a leak or whatever else and turn the bike off, when I turn it back on, I start it up, I ride off, I immediately have to stop, pull over, and turn those things off again. I get that maybe it's a safety thing, I get that they don't want people riding off and forgetting, but I'm not going to, because I want those things on the road, and it's frustrating when I'm riding off-road all day that every time I have to turn the bike on, I have to fix those things again. So why can't I just remember the settings? At least on my Gen 1 AT, that's the way it is. Super frustrating. Common complaint about this bike. Number 2 thing I hate about my Honda Africa Twin is the stock kickstand. The stock kickstand is made from aluminum foil, I think. The thing is so flexible, not confidence inspiring, and every time I put my foot on the peg and want to swing my leg over, I'm afraid it's going to snap or bend and I'm going to end up on the ground. The guy that had this bike before me actually put 2 pieces of pig iron and some hose clamps to reinforce it, and I've since replaced it with a Camel ADV kickstand because I just couldn't handle every time I got on it worrying that that thing was going to bend. And they do bend. They flex and bend. It's a thing. It's a common complaint. So the stock kickstand, really annoying. Why on a 500-pound motorcycle, Honda, did you give us the flimsiest, crappiest side stand possible? I don't get it. Everything else about this bike is like carefully well engineered and amazing, but the kickstand is like, oh, we got $4 left, I guess buy whatever the crappiest kickstand you can. Number 3 annoyance about the Honda Africa Twin is the windshield bracket. It's debated often if it's necessary to reinforce it or not, but basically there's a windshield, right, on the Africa Twin, and holding up that windshield is a bracket, and the bracket is right at eye level and about exactly the right size to put a RAM mount or some other mount for your GPS or your phone. It makes sense, it's logical, it's right there. It seems like that's what it's designed for, but apparently it isn't, because if you put weight on that bracket and then go over rough terrain, there's welds down inside the fairing, the front fairing, that can come apart on you, and it is a real pain in the tuchus to get in there, take the whole fairing apart, replace the part. So I don't know why they give you such an appealing windshield mount bracket and don't expect you to use it. It's prevalent enough of an issue that Camel ADV, the same company that makes the kickstand replacement, also makes a windshield bracket reinforcement. That is an interesting design flaw, very tempting to put something on there, and yet you're not really supposed to. So don't get it. Makes no sense. Number 4 thing I hate about my Africa Twin, and this one is probably obvious, but it's heavy as hell. I mean, 500 plus pounds. It doesn't feel like 500 pounds when you're moving, but when you're stopped, trying to turn around, even just moving it up and down my driveway, it's heavy. I know this is not an earth-shattering revelation, but it's something I think about a lot, and it's probably my least favorite part of the bike is whenever I have to move it around, not under power or in a tight sort of turnaround situation at the end of a dead-end gravel road. I think about it constantly. It keeps me from exploring more places just because I'm not good at turning it around. Personally, I need to just get better at slow speed riding, but maneuvering it around, not under power while it's stopped, is hard. And once it starts to tip, man, you really feel it. I dropped it recently in a pretty minor situation because once it tipped, I knew I wasn't going to be able to hold it up without straining myself, so I just let it go. Number 5 thing I hate about my Honda Africa Twin is maybe a specific to my Gen 1 2016 Africa Twin, but there are a couple persistent design flaws that is not something you normally see with Honda. So spoke corrosion is apparently a big deal with these because they've got aluminum and steel going together, and that causes a chemical reaction which leads to corrosion. So it's something you have to keep an eye on with these bikes with the stock wheels. And the other thing is the forks. I don't know the specifics because I'm not an engineer, but the forks wear out. They sort of score the inside in an interesting way, and that is another known sort of quirk design flaw of the Gen 1 1AT. You'd think they would get these things all cleared up, and those two things I think are cleared up on the later models, but the newest models had that tank issue. The Africa Twin Adventure Sports had that issue where the tank coating on the inside was coming off and getting in your fuel lines and messing it up, and they had to do a recall. It's not abnormal for there to be design flaws or issues or recalls to be necessary, except it is for Honda. It's pretty weird for Honda to have these issues, so it just surprises me and something to be aware of. I buy a Honda and think it's going to be good to go, and then I'm surprised to find out that there are these persistent issues. So I hate that. It's not like other Hondas and just basically 100% worry-free. There are specific things you gotta look out for. Number 6 thing I hate, again another design quirk, but why the hell is the battery tucked underneath the bike behind a toolbox that you need an Allen key to remove, and then it's in there sideways and pushed in so far, and the cable is so tight that you barely have enough room to slide it out and then get a screwdriver on it in order to connect and disconnect the battery. Like, you don't get to the battery a lot, but you get to it more than almost anything else, except, you know, maybe tires or the gas tank. I don't know, but I feel like people connect and disconnect accessories, and battery issues are like one of the most common things. So it's really frustrating that that battery is so hard to get to, especially in a off-road, up in the country kind of situation. I think they did that to kind of get the weight more centered on the bike, but the seat is also in the center of the bike, so why not just put it under the seat? It's like an escape room you gotta figure out to get to the damn thing. And number 7, the 7th and final thing that I hate about my Africa Twin, and some of you are gonna disagree with me on this one, but the tubed tires. I wish this bike had tubeless tires. The new Adventure Sports do have tubeless tires, so I'm not the only one who shares this concern, but for me the big advantage of tube tires is I can lower the PSI, not worry about it breaking the bead or anything like that, get more traction. But on a heavy adventure bike, you're not really supposed to do that, because you gotta keep the tires fully inflated to protect the rims from the damage that can be done by a 500-pound bike hitting a rock at speed. I personally would trade whatever advantages come from the tube tires for the ability to put a plug in my tire and patch it that way, and know that I don't have to take the tire all the way off if I get a stick or a nail or something through my tire deep in the backcountry. I know there are other advantages to tube tires. I know some of you think this is sacrilege, but I personally wish that it had tubeless tires. What do you guys think? What's better, tubeless or tube? Leave me a comment. Tell me how crazy I am for hating this. That's it. That's the 7 things that I hate about my Honda Africa Twin. Yes, they're minor nitpicks. Why? Because it's a fantastic bike all around. Highly recommend it. Some of you are still going to comment and be like, how could you hate that bike? It's so great. I'm saying that it's so great. It just isn't perfect, and there are some minor annoying issues that I can nitpick in order to make a video, and I've done that. If you want to see the flip side of the coin, check out right here. There's also a 6 things I love about my Honda Africa Twin video, and I'll link it for you just as soon as it's ready, so it should be up here, bink, and for sure in the description below. You want to know more about my Africa Twin? Check out my Honda Africa Twin mods video. If you learned something about the Africa Twin, or you agree with one of the things that I hate about my Africa Twin, don't forget to hit that like button. Really helps the video be more visible, helps me out a ton. But for now and as always, I just want to say thank you very much for watching, and please do not forget to be excellent to each other. Thank you.
Excellent!
Excellent! I'll probably still put it in, but that's there. Enjoy that.